If that montage did not make it clear enough, the value for Urzuk has recently exploded and will most likely continue to see a rise. With players across the Creatures of Sonaria community base crazing over this one species, willing to pay tens of thousands of mush over its original value, I beg to ask this one question: why? Chapter 1. Mystery of the Keys. Well, to find out why Urzuk's value is this high in the first place, we will need to understand how this species was obtained. Back when it was the 22nd of September 2023, the first run of the Mystery of the Keys event rolled out. This update, also known as the Lore event, consisted of 3 total parts, introducing Boreal's quest on Part 1, Aegeon's quest on Part 2, and later on, Angelic's quest as the third and final part of the event. Let's go through all of them. Part 1, starting on the 22nd of September, introduced the first of 3 limited Roblox items, Boreal's Key. This key was obtained by completing a series of objectives listed on screen now. And reading through these objectives, you may be wondering, but sidelines, what is a correct spell? Well, during this part of the event, a spell-based minigame requires players to match the correct enchantments in order to create spells with the help of a spell guide shared through platforms such as Discord. This was pretty much the entirety of Part 1, along with a side quest. Part 2 followed a similar formula beginning on the 29th of September and introduced a second limited UGC, Aegeon's Key. Similarly to Part 1, another quest themed after this Warden was introduced, but only this time, players needed to complete the previous Boreal's Key quest as well. 2 new minigames, Aegeon's Pearl Delivery minigame and Key Numbers minigame, were also added in this update, which you needed to complete in order to progress through Aegeon's quest. But the final part of this event, Part 3, this part truly crowns the Mystery of the Keys as one of, if not the most grindiest event within the history of Creatures of Sonaria. Beginning on the 3rd of October 2023, both Angelic's quest and the Help Rebus side mission were available to complete until the 13th of October, which was when the event ended. Obtaining Angelic's Key, similar to Aegeon's Key, required the player to complete all of the previous Warden quests. The addition of a 4th minigame being an obstacle course was also included in order to complete Angelic's quest. Now you may be wondering, why am I covering all of these seemingly irrelevant minigames, missions and side quests? And what do all of these minigames, missions or side quests have to do with getting Urzuk in the first place? Well, labeling this event as the grindiest one ever seen had its reason. Chapter 2. Help Rebus. By completing this side quest, players will be able to obtain their own Urzuk species. But this is no easy achievement. The objectives that players will need to complete includes experiencing 5 disasters. Disasters, or more specifically, natural disasters, can occur on rare occasions over time. These range from a blood moon to flooding, tornadoes, or even volcanic eruption. It is also possible to summon a blood moon or volcanic eruption through the use of tokens, albeit at the price of 15 tickets each. Discover Rebus's notebook and collect and deliver 10 of Rebus's notes. Rebus's notes are scattered across the main map and can be found spawning in these locations, shown by Urzuk's profile, while Rebus's notebook can be found within a cave inside the rocky drop biome. Now for the final and hardest objective yet. Complete Angelic's quest. Oh boy, if you thought those 3 objectives were enough, players will also need to complete all 3 Warden Key quests mentioned previously in order to finally obtain the Urzuk species. After going through all that trouble just to get this one species, you should now understand why Urzuk's value is in the tens of thousands. Chapter 3. The confusing state of Urzuk's situation. Erythia herself has confirmed that there will be a return of the lore event, but has not specifically stated that Urzuk will be returning. With additional developers neither supporting nor denying this idea of a return, players are expecting the worst. The law was an event that aimed to signify the end of Official Recode's early release stages, being a unique one-time celebration of the game's achievements. These kinds of events will most likely not be seeing a yearly return without a rework in place. Unlike most other COS events, which are holiday-based, such as the Christmas or Halloween events, Mystery of the Keys doesn't have the same event-exclusive currencies for obtaining creatures. Some of the main rewards, including the limited Angelic, Aegean, and Boreal keys, will no longer be obtainable if the event ever re-rolls, and reintroducing Urzuk as the only reward will be lackluster for the player base. But if Arethia follows through with what she previously stated, the introduction of additional creatures yield promising additions. Yet, with all this in mind, these promising additions neither confirm nor deny Urzuk's return. So what should you do if you have an Urzuk? From what I've seen over the past week, specifically on the Creatures of Sonaria Discord server, Urzuk's value is continuing to see a rapid increase, going from 30,000 2 weeks ago to 40,000 and rising since posting this video. If you've currently got an Urzuk in possession, then I'd highly recommend you keep the ones you have, or wait for an even better opportunity in the form of an overpay. Otherwise, if you don't own an Urzuk, then your best bet is to wait until further announcements are made about Urzuk's release, if any, or when the demand and value for Urzuk decreases. The future for this species is uncertain, and there's no saying exactly how things will turn out, so take my words with a grain of salt. But if there's one thing that we know for sure, it's that Urzuk's definitely one of the most infuriating species to grind for, and I respect each and every one of you who unlocked it legitimately.